Welcome to the Women's Football Show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Kerry Pollock, Alison McConnell and Cara Henderson are here with me. A busy cup weekend for the teams on Sunday. Celtic, Rangers, Glasgow City, Hibs, Partick Thistle, Aberdeen, Motherwell, Boroughmuir Thistle all advanced in the next stage, but it's back to league matters this weekend and we have a big one on our hands, Alison.
Yeah, huge game on Thursday night at Broadwood. I think 6 o'clock kick-off for that one. Joe Potter's side up against Celtic. I think it'll attract a lot of eyes. I think the game's live on Sky Sports, which is fantastic. It gives it a really good platform, and I think an intriguing contest. I think Rangers have been, there's been a fluency to Rangers this season, the way that they've been going about their business, scoring a lot of goals. They left it late yesterday. They had to wait until the latter stages of the second half before finally breaking Dundee United down, but overall, I think they've been very, very impressive so far this season. Celtic too. I think they're on the crest of a wave at the minute. Looking forward to Champions League football, the group stages to look forward to, and I think this game will be a real indication of what you can expect in terms of how the title race will play out. I think both managers, of course, will minimise that. Both will say that there's a long way to go, which of course it is. But I think this first contest always gives you a barometer of where both of them are.
7-0 win for Celtic, Cara, 3 for Rangers. How important was it not only to go into this tie on Thursday with a win, but with a convincing performance under your belt as well?
Yeah, for sure. And I think from Celtic's point of view, given the fact they've been playing midweek football, weekend football, for a couple of weeks now, that's a really, really impressive result because they'd been in Montrose. I think a tough game midweek a couple of weeks ago. And that's very, very convincing. It's clinical as well, which I think Celtic would have wanted from their performances. I think Elena Suduka was a wee bit critical, but 7-0, and then obviously, Rangers getting another victory. It took them a wee bit longer. I think it was the 77th minute or something like that. They got their first goal, but I don't think that will be a concern to Joe Potter. I think that she'll be feeling great. And of course, the Celtic camp will be feeling really, really confident and excited probably. They'll be in a good place with all the games they know that they've got coming up.
Celtic, I think, made 9 changes too. I think to be able to make those amount of changes in a game and not disrupt the rhythm at all. I think it shows, one, just how far ahead Celtic, Rangers, Glasgow City probably are ahead of everyone else, and 2, just the depth and squad that they do have. I think Saoirse Noonan coming in and scoring 2 goals, Kit Lafersky coming in, scoring 2 goals, people that hadn't started in Thursday night's game. I think Saoirse Noonan in particular is an interesting one. I think she's done well when she's been called upon. I think she'll be itching to get a chance just to stay in the team now.
On paper, Cara, you would say maybe Rangers are perhaps the favourites with the scorelines that they've had in the recent weeks. They're at the top of the table. But is there an extra layer to it because it's a derby? Does that add a bit of more excitement, a bit of pressure maybe too?
I think so. I think that you can't write Celtic off with the way they're playing at the moment. They've been tasked to get into the Champions League. They've done that. They've got a great group. Well, it'll be a difficult group, but they've got a great group. They've done well to, they've not really conceded many goals as well. They're fresh. They've been able to rest players yesterday. So I think it'll be an interesting one going into it. I think that it'll be a good indication of where both teams are at. I actually don't know what way it would go because I think you can't say that. I think Rangers, obviously in a league momentum, they've felt like they've probably been more ruthless. But Celtic as well, the run they've been on, the games they've played, the mood in the camp, I don't think you can call it either way. It's going to be a really interesting game, I think.
I think what you can sense is that there was a real soreness at the end of last season at the way Rangers lost the league, just the circumstances in which it slipped from their grasp. And I think there was a prevailing feeling within the squad that they were the better team across the course of the campaign. And I think there was a real frustration at how they allowed it just to escape their clutches towards the end of the season. Obviously, a draw with Celtic at Broadwood in one of the concluding games of the season, the slip up against Hearts. I think they just felt as though they allowed Celtic to take it when they were arguably the better team across the campaign. I think that was the feeling within the Rangers dressing room, and I think what you saw was that reflected in how they've started this season. I think they've started with a bit between their teeth. I think they'll see this as a huge opportunity now to go and put a bit of daylight between themselves and Celtic. But of course, Celtic, they've shown time and time again that you can't discount them from it. I actually thought the real turning point for Elena Suduka last season was a game at Ibrox that they drew, 2-2 draw. I think that was a massive turning point for Celtic last season, and I think they'll go into this game with a quiet confidence about them.
Yeah, proves to be an exciting one coming up on Thursday. But Glasgow City advanced to the next round with a win over Hearts, and we did say this one would be tight, Ali.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think, I think Hearts are probably, they're just not quite at the level of the top three. I know it's a cup game, it's a one-off tie. I think it gone to 3-1 then come back to 3-2. I think City are just ahead of them just now, as would be reflected in the last league game between them two. I know Eva Olod was sore about that one. She felt as though Hearts had done enough to take something from it, but I think the gap is still there. I think what you're seeing in the evidence of the opening weeks is that there is still a bit of distance between the teams.
They do need to make the journey to Aberdeen at the weekend. Cara, how frustrating can that be as a player when you can't get into a rhythm of a good run of results?
Yeah, it can be really frustrating. I think that what you want is momentum. I think that's why the Celtic, although Celtic are behind Rangers in the league, you can't discount the form they've been on to qualify. And it's not even about necessarily result, it's just about the feeling that you've got when you feel like you're in a groove, when you feel like you're playing well. It breeds confidence, and that reflects your performance. So I think that they'll want to sort of get into a place where they feel comfortable. But I think the thing is, it's so early in the season that it's hard to say that all these games will have a massive impact come the end. But I do think that momentum and feeling in the camp is probably at this point the most important thing, because that breeds confidence going forward in the season.
Hearts this weekend, of course, meet Partick Thistle. 2 defeats on the bounce for them, and this week you find yourself back on the score sheet, Cara Henderson.
Yes, I was nervous because of a penalty, and after last week I'd missed it, so I had to take a big deep breath before it, because I was like, oh God, and the keeper went the right way too. So I knew I wanted to take it, because I was like, I'd had a good sort of run of penalties last year. I was like, the next one's the most important one, so I was delighted to see it go in, a massive sigh of relief. But I think yesterday for us as well, it was another good performance. Again, I think, as I just said, we're getting to a nice wee rhythm. I think that we were pretty dominant again, but it just came back to, you see Brian Graham's post-match, that it's just about being ruthless and clinical, because I thought we were really comfortable, and then as soon as they get that second goal and it's 3-2 with 10 minutes to play, you make it more uneasy than it probably needed to be. So, but no, I think we're in a good run of form, and I think Sunday against Hearts will be really, really tough, but it's a great test, and I think it's one that we're all really looking forward to. Do
you feel it should have been more at the weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think we were pretty comfortable and dominant in the game, and we created a lot of chances. When we sort of watching the highlights back yesterday and watching the game back, there was a lot of opportunities yesterday. But I think also the flip side to that is that we've got to take confidence from it. At the start of the season we struggled. We just struggled to get into a rhythm. We had a few bad results, so we've got to take confidence from the past couple of weeks, and I think that we're in a good place going forward. Yeah.
Just to take you back to the penalty, obviously you scored this weekend, missed last weekend. Do you overthink it? Do you change where you put it?
I did, yeah. Because I'd went twice the same way and it didn't work. But then the keeper went the right way, so as I said, I was quite nervous. But I just was really keen to take it, because I think that when I missed it last week, I was obviously really disappointed. But I said to myself, the next one's the most important one. People miss penalties, it happens in football. I didn't really want it to come around as quick as this week, to be honest. I was hoping maybe a few weeks, but I worked on them, and yeah, no, I was delighted, because obviously I'm happy to get on the score sheet as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Hibs an emphatic 7-1 over Queen's Park on Sunday. Kathleen McGovern has well and truly hit the ground running, Ali. Another hat-trick under her belt for her. Yeah,
she'll be delighted. I think her qualities from last season, what she offers. Obviously switching allegiances within the city, but yeah, I think she had a small injury at the start of the season before getting into the team, but yeah, fabulous. And I think for Hibs, just finding their feet again after what was a very sobering defeat to Hearts a couple of weeks back when they lost that game at Easter Road. I think it probably just took the wind out their sails after a fairly impressive start to the season. So now just finding their feet a wee bit after that one.
They do have Montrose and Spartans in the coming weeks, and no disrespect to those both sides. Maybe a bit of an easier run-in for Hibs, but of course that's only on paper.
Yeah, I think you would expect them to beat these teams. I think you would expect them to bank the points. I think it will be tight. I think the real question already at this season will just be the top 6 place. I think you could name just now the top 5, and it's really between Hibs and Thistle. I think potentially maybe Motherwell too, just when you're looking at top 6 places. But yeah, I think you would fancy them to go comfortably and take the points from that one.
And after an Old Firm meeting, though, Rangers will take on Motherwell on this Sunday and Celtic will be back in European competition. First Scottish team to make it to the last 16 of the Champions League. Cara, first of all, just it's a bit of an accolade to have on your resume.
No, absolutely. I think the group they've got, it's so exciting. I think they're going to get, obviously they go to Chelsea, Real Madrid. I mean, it's brilliant. It's so exciting for them as well. And, obviously, we know quite a few of the girls, and I'm delighted for them too because it's a great achievement. And I hope it's magical nights for them, especially when it's here. I don't know if it's confirmed, but hopefully they get to go to Celtic Park, and it's a big occasion for them. And it is a great achievement. And as we said before, it's so important for the Scottish game that we've got teams in this position where we're in Europe, but we're also, showing that going forward, that's a place that Scotland can go, and it can only mean good things. So I'm delighted for them.
Did you get a chance to speak to your former teammate?
I did. I sent her a text. I saw the highlights. She was very, very good, and she was a great player for us. And although we are gutted to miss her, I'm absolutely delighted for that. I mean, it's what dreams are made of. She was at Celtic when she was younger. She goes, her first Champions League start. She scores a very important goal. So delighted for her, but I'm not surprised because that's the type of character she is.
Absolutely. Well, Celtic will face FC 21st amongst other high calibre of opponents, as Cara mentioned, Chelsea and Real Madrid. But that's what you expect when you get to that stage of the competition, Alison.
Absolutely. The last 16, they're within now Europe's elite. It's an amazing opportunity for them. I think they will know that how tough this can be. I think when you look at the quality of Real Madrid, the quality of Chelsea's semi-finalists last season, I think the bar has risen hugely. I think it will be incredibly difficult for Celtic, but it's a huge opportunity to learn, to go and see this is what the level is, this is what you've got to aspire to get. I don't think anyone's kidding themselves on. I think we know there is a massive chasm between the Scottish League, the English League, the big leagues around Europe. You can see how much the game has progressed elsewhere, and I think Scotland it's maybe taken longer just to make those strides. So I think there is a distance, but at the same time you want to go, you want to see what that is, and really the aim is to have regular participants at this stage of the tournament.
Absolutely. Well, loads more exciting games coming up this week and at the weekend. On behalf of myself, Cara and Alison, thanks for listening, thanks for watching.